Hello everybody, welcome to November 30th of Yoga Shorts. Today we're going to be focusing on shoulders and shoulder mobility and scapular mobility, and I'm going to be a little bit of an anatomy nerd today. So bear with me because I will show you what to do. We have Chantel joining us and Annie joining us today. So welcome you guys, thanks for being here. If you're new to the YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, it would be greatly appreciated if you like or subscribe if you'd like to be notified of more classes that we do. And then other than that, let's get started. So let's start in a seated position. Also for today, if you're at home, if you have a couple of yoga blocks handy, that would be good. Today we're working with a foam block, which is kind of a lighter type block, and also a wood block, which are hard to find. They can be substituted with books, paperback and hardback work well. So if you have one of those, you can grab that, and that would be really handy for the class coming up here in a little bit. So to start off, I'm going to get the girls to actually sit on one of the foam blocks behind them just to elevate their hips up. So the hips are a little bit taller than the knees, and then that way hopefully they can relax their knees down, and then you're not getting gripping into the hips as we try to go through the pranayama or just breathing part of yoga. So begin by closing your eyes. And then we'll just start to breathe. Deep inhales, deep exhales, trying to relax into the sits bones, allowing the knees to come down. Stacking the spine so the vertebrae stack all the way up, lengthening through the crown of the head. And then bringing in more space in the torso for the lungs to breathe. I'm just noticing that there's a lot of light in my video. So I'm going to close this as the girls and you at home are breathing. And then today we're going to practice something called box breathing. So we're going to start by breathing in for 4. We're going to hold that breath for 4 counts. Then we're going to exhale for 4 counts and hold the exhale out of our lungs. So we're going to hold empty lungs for 4 breaths. And then we're going to breathe in for 4 breaths. So it's just kind of, if you imagine a box, you're stagnant for 4, you exhale for 4, you're stagnant for 4, then you inhale for 4 if you need kind of a more concrete version of how this works. So everybody just take one big inhale and exhale together. Breathe it all out, and then begin to inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1, and then holding there at the top, maybe sniffing in a little bit extra air just to make sure that your lungs are fully in. We're at 3, 4, and then we're going to exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling all the excess air and holding it out. 2, 1. And then inhaling in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pausing there. And then again for 4, 3, 2, 1. And then just try to continue on your own, counting in your own head, either making it a little bit longer or shorter depending on what you need, but making sure that at the top of the breath you're inhaling fully to your full capacity, you're feeling the ribs expand, and then when you exhale, you're making sure at the end of the exhale you're taking that last little bit of air out of your lungs so that when you breathe in again, you're getting fresh oxygen to your tissues. Continuing on your own, relaxing through the shoulders and the spot between your eyebrows and the forehead, the crown of the head, taking the shoulders away from the ears, relaxing through the arms, relaxing down into whatever you're sitting upon, relaxing through the legs and the feet. And then just continue with regular breathing. And see if by doing the box breathing method, if you're able to make your exhales slightly longer than they were in the beginning when we began to breathe. Try to make the breath audible, and on the inhales, feel the expansion through the ribs. So you're trying to create space into the intercostal muscles, which are the little muscles that are in between each rib along our sides. And then gently start to open the eyes. And then we're going to remove the blocks out from underneath us. I recommend that you do the same at home. And we're going to go into a little bit of wrist prep because we're going to spend a little bit of time on our wrists today. And I don't think that we've done that in this class before. So we're going to start with our hands placed like this on the mat with our fingertips forward. So hands are just fingertips forward. And then we're just going to begin to rock very slightly forward and back, putting a little bit of pressure into the wrists as we extend forward and back. It's important to do this on your knees and always listen to your body. Now we're going to take the fingers out to the edges of the mat, so out to the sides. And again, just rock back and forth, beginning to warm up all the musculature in our forearms, helping our wrists become more stable. Take the fingers back towards your thighs. So we're rotating the arms all the way, being very gentle as you rock back here. Anybody that works on a computer full-time or isn't used to doing any sort of wrist mobility might find that they are compromised here. Try to keep your wrists on the floor, even if it means that you don't go backwards at all. We're trying to prevent the hand from lifting off the mat. Just go back as far as is comfortable for you. Hold for a second or two and then come forward. Then we're going to spin our fingertips all the way towards the front and then take the fingertips in towards each other. If you have to bend through the elbows in order to put your palms flat on the ground, please do so. If you can extend them straight, please do so. Always listening to your body. That's a given in any of my classes. If something doesn't resonate with your body, I'm just here to give you suggestions, and your body tells you what's okay and what's not. So just continue to do that, rocking back and forth as long as it feels good. And then we're going to take the palms off of the ground and we're going to flip our hands over. So the back of the hand is now coming onto the mat. And again, if you need to bend in through the elbows in order to make that feel okay, we're not going to put a lot of pressure into our wrists here at all. We're not rocking back and forth in this position. We're just stretching those muscles. You guys both feel something? Mm-hmm. Yeah, good. All right, now take them off and we're just going to circle through the wrists a little bit. Now that was a really passive way of exercising the wrists, and we're going to come into a little bit more active way of doing it. So we're going to start with our fingertips pointed towards the front edge of the mat, just like we did in the beginning. And then as we hinge back with our hips towards our feet, we're going to try to pull the fingertips up. I'm going to come from the side so you can see what I'm doing here. So as my hips come back, my hands come up. And I try to pull the fingertips towards my wrists, maintaining that same angle of the hand and forearm. So come forward and back, really pulling the fingertips back in towards you. Trying to straighten through the arms. The elbows are going to want to bend to help you, but you'll engage more of the forearm muscle if you do this. Come forward and back. A lot of what we're doing, some of you at home may be asking at this point, like, is this yoga? What on earth are you doing? But these muscles help to, all the muscles that we strengthen in these sort of 30-minute core classes help us as we go through yoga in longer classes. They are stability exercises to help us as we become more mobile and work through yoga. As we get to the end of this class, I think hopefully your mind will figure it out. Do just one more of those, rocking back and forth. All right, and then I'm going to get the girls to lay on their belly with their arms extended out in front of them, hands down on the floor. We're going to do the same motion. We're going to try to keep the arms forward on the floor, and then we're just going to lift the fingers up. Try to keep the arms forward. Keep the forehead down so you're not jarring through your neck. And put the palms down and lift them up. Down. This time lift them up, engage through your arms, try to keep your inner elbows facing one another, and then extend the arms up towards the ceiling. Keep your forehead down. Good. You should be feeling lots of activation here. Relax them down, but keep pulling the fingers in and up. We're going to do this 3 times all together. This is the second time. We're going to try to relax through the trapezius, through right here and right here. Relax down. Keep the fingers up. What I'm pointing at on the girls are trapezius muscles that are right here. We want to relax through the upper trapezius and up. Last time. Trying to engage lower down through the back. And down, relax the fingertips down towards the floor. Breathing here, you can circle out your wrists. Maybe pushing back into child's pose, coming up onto your knees. Doing whatever feels good. That's a lot of wrist mobility work right from the beginning. All right, now I want to work a little bit more on the shoulder movement. So we all have shoulder blades in our body, hopefully, or you're missing a big component. And we want to work on mobilization of the shoulder. So the shoulder is a joint that gives us a lot of different range of motion, and we want to make sure that that's really stable, especially when we start to put any pressure on it in yoga poses, which we do a lot of as soon as we start to do any sort of inversions or arm balances. So even though we're not doing those today, we're going to work on the mobility within the shoulders, even to hold something like down dog. So I'm going to get everybody at home to, let's just come into quadruped first. Grab your blocks or your books if you don't have them already. So just on all fours. Our blocks are in regular language. And then we're just going to try to stabilize your spine if you've been watching the last 2 episodes. So we're just trying to take the lumbar into its natural curve. If I was to place a dowel or a wall at your back, your pelvis should be touching the wall, and your upper back should be touching the wall, and your head should be touching the wall, and nothing else. So I'm just going to check in with the girls, and they're looking pretty good. So we want to maintain that and keep it stable. We want to really stabilize through the left shoulder, and we're going to bring the right hand up. We're going to take the palm up towards the ceiling. And remember last week how we worked on external rotation of the upper arm bone? We're going to take the inner eye of the elbow and face it up. And then we're going to reach that arm up towards the ceiling. It's not going to feel good in your body to reach it forward and straight. So take it out to a 45-degree angle as you reach up. It should happen just naturally, but be mindful when it does. Take that down. And then we're going to bring it up 3 more times. So bringing it up. Really stabilizing through the hips, making sure that you're not dumping into the opposite shoulder or slumping into the opposite shoulder. And then also make sure that you're taking the right shoulder away from the ear. I realize I'm talking and we're all holding it. And down. And 1 more time. Up. See if you can really engage your core here. And then try to be mindful of where the weight is going in this left hand. Try to put weight into the fingertips and through the base of the palm. Go ahead and relax the right arm down. Put the palm back towards the floor. Maybe do a bit of wiggles if you feel like you need to wiggle it out a little bit. And then we're going to restabilize our spine. Imagine that we're standing at a wall, making sure that it is neutral. Engage the core and then begin to lift the left arm up. We're going to take the palm towards the ceiling again and externally rotate that arm. Keep looking down at the ground, just following along with my words. Taking the arm up, and as you do, it should naturally go to a 45-degree angle. We're trying to work the lower trapezius muscle right here, below the shoulder blade. Breathing here. Always remember to breathe. Stabilizing through the shoulders. Make sure that that left shoulder is pulling away from the ear. And relax down. And come up for the second time. All we're doing is 3. You can do anything 3 times. Or is it just that you're supposed to do, you can do anything once? I think that's the same.
Try.
Well, in yoga, you can do anything 3 times. Continue to look towards the floor to keep your neck in line with the rest of your spine. Relax down. And go ahead and lift up 1 more time. Make sure that you're externally rotating so you're really pulling that inner elbow towards the ceiling. Putting everything in external rotation. And then come on down. We're just going to do a few scapular push-ups. So I'm going to imagine as though my breastbone is what's doing the push-up, and we're leaving our shoulders in a very structured place. So we're not slinking up and down with the shoulders, we're just moving the breastbone down and up. Keep your shoulders static in space. as you bring your chest down and up. Be mindful not to move. Yeah. Through the ribs. So we're not dumping through the low back and tilting the pelvis. The motion should be up and down. No pelvis tilt. No lower back movement as we come through. Good. I'm still seeing a little bit of wiggle here, which means you guys at home are probably doing the same thing. So I'm going to have the girls sit back onto their heels, and then all we'll need to focus on is stabilizing through the shoulders. And then I'm actually going to get you guys to turn this way just for 1 minute so that people at home can see better. So Chantal, put your knees on my mat, and then Annie, you can put your knees on her mat, or do it that way. So sitting back onto your heels, putting weight into your hands, and then go ahead and just bring your breastbone. It's the same exercise. We're bringing the breastbone through and back, but we're trying to stabilize through the back here. So we're isolating the movement in the thoracic spine, the spine that's close to her lungs at the top. Annie knows I'm coming to watch her. Good. So we're totally isolating back here. She's got no movement in her lower back, and she's just bringing the breastbone through the shoulders and back behind the shoulders, so her thoracic spine is starting to bend and move a little bit more. Good. Let's all come back to our mats. Okay. Now we're going to do an exercise called quadruped teacups, which I'm very excited
That's delightful.
I know. We're just going to have tea, you guys. So we're going to start. Those of you at home, maybe watch a few before you try them. It's a little bit confusing. I'm going to try to do it sideways so that you can see it from all angles. We're going to do it without blocks to start with. So same thing as we did before. I'm going to go ahead this way. And Chantal and Annie, if you can maybe demonstrate forward. I'm going to get you to demonstrate.
You want us to do it?
Yeah, I do. I'm just going to use your mat as we do it. Will this work?
Yep.
Okay, everybody up there can see. All right, we're going to extend the right arm forward, stabilizing through the left shoulder, very stable and stabilizing through the hips. And then take the palm up towards the ceiling and externally rotate that arm. Now imagine as though you're holding the block in that hand. We're going to bring it in towards the chest, wrap it around under the belly, and then extend that arm back behind us and lift it up. Try to take that right shoulder away from your ear, and then we're going to take the hand down, go around the belly underneath us, come up through the chest, extend it back out into a 45-degree angle and lift it up. And then go ahead and set the arm down. We're going to do it with foam blocks to begin with because they're a little bit lighter. So Chantal, you can back up if you want. And if you want to grab a foam block. We're still on the right-hand side, unless you started on the left at home, and you can continue with the left and then switch over to the opposite when we do. So stabilize through the hips and the shoulders, making sure that the knees are under the hips and the hands are under the shoulders. Then we're going to place our palm underneath the block, and we're going to extend it forward, take it out to a 45-degree angle. Pull it in towards the chest, wrap it around the belly, take it back behind, lift it up. If you're at home working with books, it's the same thing. Lift it up a little higher, take that right shoulder away from the ear, and then come down, bring it down around through the belly, up to a 45, and bring it up again. We're going to do that one more time, taking it down, beside the chest, around the belly, back and up, and then down, around the belly, back through the chest, up at a 45-degree angle, lifting it up a little bit higher, and then go ahead and put that block down to the floor. Make sure that when you grab the block that you try to just keep your palm open, that you're not grabbing. That would be cheating. All right, let's try it with the wood block. Does everybody still feel okay, or do you want to switch to the other side? All right, let's do a wood block. Again, at home, if grabbing a heavier book or grabbing a heavier block is too much, feel free to go back or just do it without a weight. All right, so restabilize through your shoulders, through your pelvis. Stabilize the spine, put your lumbar into neutral. Go ahead and gaze at the ground so that your neck is in line with the rest of your spine. We're gonna grab hold of the wood block, flip it over, so we're holding it with our palm. This will create external rotation and build strength. We're gonna reach it forward at a 45-degree angle and then lift up. As we reach it forward and up, this is engaging the serratus anterior and hopefully the lower trapezius. That's what you're feeling right now. Go ahead and bring it in towards the chest, under the belly and around, back and up. Pull the right shoulder away from the ear, lift it up a little bit higher. Maybe pull it in towards the body, lift it up a little bit higher, and then go ahead and come down, rotate under the belly, coming around through the front chest, taking it up, and go ahead and put it back down. Nicely done. This is a lot of work. You should also be feeling it in your left shoulder because that is what's stabilizing you. These are the stabilization muscles that you need in a lot of other yoga poses, which is why we're working on them. It's like strength training for yoga. All right, go ahead and stabilize yourself. We're gonna do the opposite side. First, just to get the motion in our body without weight. So we're gonna take the left arm forward. We're gonna take the palm up, 45-degree angle. Take it in towards the chest. Wrap around under the belly. Take it back. Draw the shoulder away from the ear and then take the palm towards the ceiling. Make sure that this front right shoulder isn't curling in. You're not going down or up through that shoulder. And everything should feel good. I went through this exercise with the girls before the video, so I'm hoping that they're doing it correctly, but I'm just double checking. Go ahead and bring it back down. Wrap under the belly, through the chest, forward at a 45-degree angle, and back down. We're gonna grab our foam blocks and do 2 rounds with these. So taking the block forward at a 45-degree angle, make sure that you're stabilizing through everything else. Bring it up towards the ceiling, and then bring it down towards the chest, coming under the belly, back, straightening the arm, and lifting it up. And then bringing it down, around under the belly, through the chest, try not to drop it, coming up at a 45-degree angle. Lift it up a little bit more, recheck in with your shoulders and your hips, and then go ahead and set it down. And then if you're feeling up to it, and you're allowed to not be feeling up to it, you're allowed to listen to your body. Always, always listen to your body. We're gonna take the wood block, which is substantially heavier than our foam. We're gonna take the block, externally rotate our head, lift it up to a 45-degree. We're gonna restabilize our right shoulder and our hips, restabilize our spine. Then we're gonna take the block towards our chest, rotating it under the belly, bringing it back, lifting it up. Take that left shoulder away from the ear, take the right shoulder away from the ear, and then lift it up a little higher. Maybe hug it in towards the body to lift it up a little higher, and then take it down, rotate it under the belly, through the chest, forward last time, and up, and then take it down. Go ahead and sit back. Rotate your shoulders. How are you guys doing?
One.
Good. Good. That's the whole point. All right. So now we're going to put our hands probably a palm's length forward of where we had them, just in regular quadruped or hands and knees pose. Then we're going to tuck our back toes and come into our first down dog. This should feel really good in the shoulders. We should get a lot of shoulder mobility here. You should feel like pressing into your wrists. They're nice and warm and feel good. Your legs, sorry, we didn't work on the legs. Right? So Annie, bring your breastbone towards the floor a little bit more. So lift your tail up. Yeah. And then bring your breastbone towards your mat. Shifting your weight back. There you go. And then lift up through the tailbone. Keep your hips down. And then just tilt your pelvis. Like if you had a tail, yeah, put this part in. Away from me, away from me, away from me. Away from me. Away from me. Take your lower back towards the mat by tilting your pelvis up. Yeah. Your heels are gonna come up. You're gonna feel it in your hamstrings. And then lower your gaze so your neck is in line with the rest of your spine. Good. Down dog hopefully should feel really good. We're gonna come up to our tiptoes, slight bend in the knees, hop, step, or walk your feet forward. Inhale to a flat back. We're gonna exhale and fold, maybe bending through the knees. We didn't do a lot of hamstrings today. And then rolling up through the spine, vertebrae at a time. Sweeping the arms up, taking the hands down. That motion should feel good. We've warmed up the shoulders. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, plant the hands down, step back into high plank. We're gonna keep our elbows in and we're gonna do down half a push-up and then push back up. If you wanna do these with your knees down, you're welcome to. Half a push-up and up, making sure that the elbows stay in. This is working on the external rotation that we just did. Then we're gonna lower either all the way to the ground or chaturanga. Inhale to your back bend, up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. Up to tiptoe, slight bend in the knees. We're gonna step the right foot forward. We're gonna come on up into high lunge. Try to draw the right hip back, the left hip forward, maybe bending through that left knee to tuck the pelvis. Externally rotating the arms, bringing the shoulder blades down the back. Breathing here. This is where you can see the shoulder work in action. Exhale the hands down to the mat. Step into high plank. Exhale as you lower all the way down, keeping your elbows in, and then inhale up to cobra, taking the shoulders away from the ears as you come up. Exhale down, and then inhaling, and on an exhale, pushing yourself to down dog. One more time, either coming up through all fours, like I did, or coming up through plank, which I think Chantal did. Up to tiptoe, slight bend in the knees, take the left foot forward, take the torso up, pelvis stays low. Again, possibly bending through that right leg to tilt the pelvis. Working on externally rotating the arms so our elbows aren't going wide, they're pulling in, and our pinkies are coming towards one another. Breathing here. Maybe sink a little bit lower, pull that left hip back a little bit more. And then exhale the arms down. Step the foot back. We're gonna do a half push-up with our elbows in and up. Keep the shoulders away from the ears and all the way down. Inhaling, little cobra. Exhaling to your down dog, either coming up through all fours like this or through plank, like Chantal. And then breathing here in down dog, really trying to put weight through the shoulders and the wrists. Tucking your pelvis, so if you had a tail, you're lifting it up towards the ceiling. All right, I think we're almost out of time. So we're gonna just take our feet forward, and then I'm going to actually get you guys to lie this way so that people are gonna be able to see you. And I won't participate in this. So Chantal, you will use the entire length of my mat, your mat, and Annie's mat, and you'll be right beside her over here. So we're gonna grab a foam block for this, and we're gonna put it at the medium height. So we're gonna set ourselves up for little bridge, little supported bridge. So lay on your back, and then bend through your knees so your feet come towards your bottom. Your feet should be hip distance apart. And then we're gonna push into the heels, and we're gonna roll up through our pelvis and push it up towards the ceiling, rolling each vertebrae off the floor, one vertebrae at a time. When our hips are up all the way, we're gonna take that block at the medium setting, and we're gonna put it underneath us. If the medium setting of your book doesn't work because the book is flopping open, just put the book on its side at a low setting, or stack a couple of books. And then go ahead and place your pelvis on the block so you're supported in this position. It should be against the back of your pelvis. None of your spinal bones, your vertebrae, should be on the back, on the block. And then we're gonna take our arms up towards the ceiling. Keep our thumbs facing the floor, and then we're gonna, towards the floor behind you. I'm sorry. Bringing your thumbs towards the floor overhead. Breathe. again, it's just working to open up through the shoulders as we're in our back bend. Breathing here. If you're feeling like your arms can't relax overhead, feel free to get a couple of books or a couple of blocks and place them where your hands are, maybe even some pillows for you to lean into, and that will signal your nervous system to calm down a little bit more, and it'll give you more range of motion in the shoulders. This is a really good passive exercise to do if you're feeling like you can't get your thumbs to the floor. You were close. Oh, well, you can hover. You can hover. Chantal was asking if she can hover. That just engages the muscles. Rather than a passive stretch, it becomes an active, which is very good for you. It's just harder. And then go ahead and release the arms back down towards the hips. We're going to push into the heels to lift the hips off the block. We're going to remove the block out from underneath us and then slowly roll the spine down towards the floor, vertebrae by vertebrae, trying to articulate between each of the bones. And then for the girls here, I'm going to get them to extend their legs out. They're going to go into Shavasana, and we're going to hold it for at least 5 minutes here. I hope that you at home will do the same. Thank you so much for joining us again. I really super encourage you guys at home to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. And if you haven't checked me out online already, please do so, KarenBarnesYoga.com. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Namaste.